family vlog, March 26, 2020. Denmark will give you a little update while we are going to do garlic thing. So you know what happened on the planet, and some places have it better than others, but we just wanted to check in and tell how we are doing and what's happening in Denmark, what is open, what is not, what is working and what is not. We are going to look for wild garlic. What was it called?
Wild garlic, that's what it's called.
Okay. So that's them, some sort of leaves that taste like garlic, and they grow in the forest. And Evie knows the spot because they're not everywhere because we failed with the mission yesterday. Little break. Let's talk about everyday social life, like shops, that kind of thing. So what's going on in that department? Nothing much. Shops mainly are closed. You can buy food, you can buy toilet paper.
You can go to the pharmacy.
Yeah, but yeah, there's some weird shops open. You can buy like teacups, and you can buy sneakers as well in the city. Tattoo shops, for example, and other non-essential businesses are locked down. So this one, Tattoo Odense on Vindegate 103, is shut down since when?
Week?
A week, maybe a bit more. It's been recommended to stay at home for, I think, already 2 or 3 weeks. 2 weeks. And a week ago, all the shops were demanded to lock down, and there were some like hairdressers and I think even some tattoo shops that stayed open all night just to get all the customers in. So they worked all night because the lockdown started on Wednesday 10 o'clock in the morning. Obviously before the announcement we also panicked ourselves into going to the shop, and it was a bit intense. It wasn't like you've seen in videos, but I managed to grab the toilet paper, and there was even some individual who got so excited that there was police called to the shop because he was aggressive. Yeah, I grabbed the toilet paper just because of memes of it, but it was there, and people with toilet paper have this solidarity look. City is kind of shut down, but it's allowed to go out, just not to gather around, but people are running, people are cycling. The fitness kind of bar places are closed and it's not allowed to be there. It's not recommended to gather in big groups, right? Or it's not? Or it's...
It was not more than 10 people.
Yeah, also
and as well it's suggested if you go to the store, then just one family member.
Yeah, and people are following rules. People stand at those lines that are put so you're not too close to each other, and it's all good. There's sanitizers, there's gloves, social distancing is fine. People are willingly getting out of each other's way.
Yeah, even on the street, or if you meet someone in the park, so everyone waits each other.
Yeah, people who go behind you but go faster, they would go with a bit of snaking around you, so that's all nice. And I think it's also country-wise, it's just Denmark and all these northern countries. It's not like those Mediterranean countries where people hug and kiss and are touchy all the time. In Denmark, even a handshake is not a thing, so social distancing is okay. Like, no one's really upset about it. So we'll proceed a bit further, and then we'll talk about business and work type of aspect of this situation. We found awesome and empty playground in the middle of nowhere, and there's no signs that it's not allowed to be around. Still, when we were visiting one more central one, there were a bunch of families, so me and dad from other family, we had kind of walked aside so other family can come in and play, because otherwise we would be more than 10 people in there. So we walked up, so it's at least 3 families can be roughly in the same place. Okay, we did found a wild garlic thing, so while Evie is picking it up, I'll talk business. In terms of business at work, in terms of having a business, it's a pretty sad situation. It was demanded to lock down not too long ago. It was a lockdown till end of March, and then a couple days ago it was extended till 13th of April, so it will be overall around a month. There's chickens. As for it's demanded like obligatory lockdown, so for small businesses, government say that they will look into it and they'll do some support, some financial support for rents and for loss of income. Who's gonna get it and how much, that's worded a bit weird, so we're not sure yet, but hopefully we'll get at least something out of it, because otherwise it's a month without income, so that would suck for our family. But we'll see, and we hope for the best. And this is Denmark, things are run pretty decent here, so we hope for the best. Pagriezies, parādies, kad
I'm in a happy place.
And as for private life, how we're trying to entertain ourselves and keeping us sane, this is one of the activities we're doing. Evie is picking up this wild garlic, which is actually in Latvia, it's forbidden to pick it up in a wild, but in Denmark it's allowed. In Latvia you can only grow it in a garden. Also, we fixed our room. It started with a little corner project where we needed to change wallpaper, but we picked a little corner and it turned into half a room renovation. And with our neighbors we cleaned our garden, still keeping like a safe distance and doing somewhat shift type of things. So there's a lot of time to do all those things. Also, in family news, our smallest one, he got chickenpox, so he was off the kindergarten even before it was recommended to. So this little fella was all spotty. So he was at home, and other kid got right in when it was recommended to stay at home, so she also got chickenpox. We spent a bit more time with our kids than expected even before lockdown.
I picked up some needles, I think that's how they call it in English, for some smoothies and salads and wild garlic.
Whoop whoop, we'll be healthy. What is this?
This is like a wild mustard leaves.
Wild mustard.
Yep.
And on a safety matter of this virus, like I mentioned, gloves are accessible in shops and sanitizers, but the issue is what happens afterwards, because when you go outside, like a bigger shopping places, it's just all covered with gloves, and it's not like that. Like, people are throwing them out there and that kind of stuff, but it's more like people don't have options where to throw them out. There's often no visible bin right outside when you finish shopping, so people just go out and throw them out in a bin that's outside the shopping center, and wind blows all that stuff all over the place and it gets kind of messy. Being aware of not wasting plastic has kind of been around, but now with these gloves, they're just flying all over the place. But that's kind of a bit ugh.
I think especially now when everyone is like more zero waste and thinking about the waste, that this is like totally opposite way. It's like,
But it's
and as well in the grocery stores, like most of the things are wrapped in the plastic, like more. Maybe not so much in Denmark, but I have seen in different countries, like bread buns or that type of thing.
I mean, that matter is obviously there for a reason to fight this situation, but I don't think it's thought through completely the same way as how people don't realize that it's not only wearing gloves, but it's how you touch them and all that cross-contamination thing. The same thing is what you do with those gloves when you're done. You throw them outside, or you take your virus-filled glove and pocket it. I understand that it's good and it's for a reason, but there should be a bit more information out there for people what to do and what not to do and how to deal in this situation. Working with tattoos and piercings, maybe I'm a bit more aware of what I touch and what I shouldn't touch and the sequence of it, but maybe the average person is not so aware of that, and it's kind of weird that more information about it comes from like medics personally. So that's kind of weird that information comes from personal sources, not like some government funded institutions, because that's also really important, and that's what people, I think, misunderstand often. That's just my take on it. Update on lockdown situation in Denmark, 12th of April 2020. So this is extended version because we were lazy to finish first video. So let's add all those things, what's going on, how the streets feel like on everyday life.
Can't say much because most of the time I'm inside. You are the one who goes grocery shopping, you are the one who goes everywhere.
I would say it feels like it's a Sunday morning on every day, kind of on a daily basis, and on Sunday mornings it feels like the city is dead. like there's nobody around. Yeah, shops are still working, and it's also weird, but there are still some weird shops working, so it's weird. Like, I understand that things are serious and it needs to be locked down. Like, for some reason, ice cream shops are open, flower shops are open, sneaker shops are open. I mean, I'm happy for the people who can work. It's weird how it's decided what's essential, what's not, because you can buy ice cream in a regular shop, but you can also queue up next to the specific ice cream shop. So that's kind of weird.
It just feels like, against some businesses. And about that law that hairdressers can't work, but they can go to your home and work.
Yeah, you can't work in premises, but hairdressers could go to somebody's house and do the thing. So it's kind of weird. So there's some errors in all that legislation. I mean, I hope it's for the good. I also applied for those government help packages, and it seems like my business will get something out of it, apart from the fact that I have to sort out thing or two with banks. But hopefully it's gonna all work out and work out on time.
Daycares are open from next week.
Yeah, next week daycares are open, so we'll see how it goes. So at least a bit of that kids all the time around pressure is gonna be somewhat relieved.
Yeah, but there's huge discussions from other parents, like, these are kids like test rabbits or something, and we don't think so. I think with all this corona going around, kids are losing not only, like, I don't know, it's good that they spend time with us, but social wise they are losing a lot.
I mean, it all makes sense. Let's stay at home, so we're not putting at risk groups. But if you go to shop for like a Bauhaus, which is sort of like a DIY
Plantorama,
or shop where you buy plants, it looks like those specific risk groups are living their lives. Majority of people in shops are like elderly, and
they're not even trying to avoid you, like they're jumping on you almost.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people who taking care, there's people distant, but now since it's this Easter time, there's only few shops open. And when you go in there, it's packed, so people are trying to be distant, but they're more like awkward. There's obviously those few ninjas who take things crazy serious, and they go with all the moves and they will run around you or will queue and stare at you until you pick your product.
I know, I was like in Plantorama, 3 days ago, and it was like madhouse, like no one take any distance and nothing.
The average size shop I was in yesterday or day before, it said, if I understood correct, that they could serve only 139 people at the time, and that's it's basically packed. It kind of works and it also doesn't. The lockdown is up till 10th of May, and government says that after that they'll consider which businesses to open and how. So there's a hope, and also I read somewhere that Norway is opening tattooing. Hopefully the curve will be flattened and the life will turn back to normal, because it's getting super annoying and super boring, and you meet people and everyone is just fed up with it. And statistics wise, it looks like the situation has been taken care of good in Denmark, and I assume that it was extended because of the Easter, so they will kind of expect that people will meet their families and each other, so there's enough of that 2 weeks period and extra 2 weeks to see what's really going on, and hopefully the thing will even out and will be taken control of. We've done everything at home, we've done everything in garden, we go on walks. Today we met friends for some picnic action, so there was some barbecuing, but life is just getting weird. Like every day seems like a Sunday. Nevia, would you like to tell your calendar story?
Yeah, I lost Wednesday. I was really waiting for it, and it just...
So she thought it's Tuesday, but it was actually Thursday.
And we even fighted for 10 minutes till we opened calendar, and I was like, shit, it's actually Thursday. I'm still upset.
Yeah, but as you can see, life goes on. There's some people fishing, and people are seeing each other. I mean, we went to park and that was packed, but people are kind of distancing, so people are respecting the rules to some extent.
Like friends we met today, we are meeting since it started to happen, and
so we
are avoiding hugging and being too close and too friendly, but at the same time,
we're same group of friends, so I guess if anything, we're keeping it within our group. Yeah, that's our update. So it's now 12th of April. By the time I edit it, I don't know what date's gonna be. But that was our update.
2021.
Yeah, maybe there'll be another pandemic. Anyway, that's our story. That's our life in Denmark. So if you have anything to share in this regard or anything else, leave that down in the comment section. If you enjoyed the story, then subscribe to this channel, press all those likes and whatnot, and see you in the future videos. Bye bye.